Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. Apparently my other video I posted got pulled down. Something happened, I'm not sure. But so they are talking about a vaccine for the coronavirus to avoid it being spread around continually, not just this one time. That they're saying that this is basically not a one-time event, that it is going to come back around like the flu or anything of that matter. So they're going to create a vaccine. Okay, well, you know what? Screw your vaccine. I won't be getting it. My kid won't be getting it. And I'm sure that there are many of my friends and their children who won't be getting it either. Because number one, you're violating our constitutional rights. And I said rights, not right, not one constitutional right, but multiple. You know, and it's funny how the left will tell you that, oh, well, the Constitution was written umpteen hundred years ago and it doesn't matter anymore. It's out of date, essentially, is what they're telling you. But when it comes down to something that is their constitutional right and they're violated, then it matters. Ain't happening. We have an issue at hand that is being dealt with, but at the same time, we have an issue at hand that needs to be dealt with. Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race. Most likely, some of his constituents are going to vote for Biden. Some of his constituents are probably just going to write in his name. The bottom line is that we have a hair-sniffing pedophile that is going to be running for office. Now everybody's going to say, "Oh, well, Trump was a womanizer. Trump was not a good man, and Trump's this and Trump's that." I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a diehard Trump fan, but at the same time, I'm going to support the person who's done the most for this country. I see people out there posting things that say, "Oh, well, I'll be glad when Trump's not in office anymore. Then this country can get back to what it was before he was in office." What? Get back to being a shithole? Get back to being run into the fucking ground by the Democrats who don't give two shits? And listen to me when I tell you this. Everybody that sees this, I want you to forward it to your friends who are Democrats, who think the Democrats are good for them. The Democrats don't give two shits about you or your family, and they are proving that by blocking bills, trying to add things into bills that are not even related to what the bill is about, and trying to keep money from being put into your pockets during a time of a national emergency. That's what you need to be looking at. You need to be looking at the fact that they don't care about you. All they care about you. They don't care about you. What you need to look at is the fact that they only care about themselves. Now, I know everybody has a political agenda. They have a political angle. They have a political gain, if you will. But what is this fool doing? But when you are blatantly slapping your constituents and the American people in the face by denying them help, that's when I have a major problem with what this country is becoming. And I don't care what any of you out there say. If you can prove to me that this country, let me say this before anybody says anything, before the coronavirus, which is a worldwide pandemic according to the World Health Organization, before the coronavirus, which is a worldwide pandemic, was brought to the U.S. and has infected the U.S., You cannot tell me that this country was doing at least 50% better than it was before Donald J. Trump took office. If you tell me that, you need to back it up with proof, because I know that it is false. If you tell me that, you need to reevaluate your information and research, and then come back with some information. Going back to my original beginning of the vaccine, there are some people who don't vaccinate their kids. There are some people who do get their kids vaccinated. There are certain things that people prefer to do and people prefer not to do. On September 11th, 2001, when the Twin Towers were hit by planes, I use that phrase loosely. When September 11th, 2001 happened, as a veteran, I watched this country unite. No matter what your color, your race, your gender, it didn't matter. It did not matter. Everybody came together. Everyone was an American. Everybody cared about their country. And now here we are, almost 20 years later, and I don't know what this country has come to. I really don't. It's full of a bunch of pansy ass chicken shit sucking on their mama's titty, do nothing motherfuckers. I mean, pardon my language, but that's the only words that can come to my mind about how shitty this society has become. This country needs to realize that, number one, we are the greatest country in the world. No matter what anyone says or tries to tell you any different, if they want to bring down this country, then you need to fight for it. Because I'm not sure if you've noticed, I always, here's a quickie. I always wanted to go to Australia. I always wanted to live in Australia because I thought it would be just so cool, right? I have a friend that lives in Australia, and granted, every place has goods and bads. Goods and bads, that was great English. Has pros and cons. But she will be the first one to tell you that if you have a gun, better leave it at home. Leave it here. Don't bring it with you, because you can't have guns. So that, I mean, there's things about different. I mean, look at Europe. They've banned guns. You can't. I mean, now that everybody's killing each other with knives. I mean, that's been going on for years now. I mean, you can't get much better than to wake up, see a beautiful sunrise or a sunset in the afternoon. When you wake up in the morning, you sit on your porch, you listen to the birds sing. You don't have to worry about anybody telling you what to do, where to go. Well, right now we are. Not really trying to segue into that situation. But you typically don't have to worry about anyone telling you what to do and where to go. Now, right now, we do have a situation with the coronavirus. We are kind of in a soft lockdown. That right there should give you a great indication of how socialism will work. You're going to be restricted as to what you can do, where you can go, what you can buy. And while I'm on the subject of socialism, let's think about this real quick. I want to make this note so you can understand another possibility of things that are going on. Just a thought. Rush Limbaugh, and y'all can say, "Oh, he's a nutcase. He listens to Rush." No, I just listen to radio that is logical thinking. I listen to Eric Von Hessler. I listen to WSB, but I listen to people that are also down the middle. And I will listen to people who are on the left. I will listen to, if I can come away with one thing from a conversation that I have with someone, even if they are a leftist, a heavy leftist, if I can come away with that conversation with one thing, or if I can listen to a broadcast or a podcast and come away with one thing, then I have learned something new. And that's what I try to do every time I do it. Now, that being said, think about this. The country, the feds, the Federal Reserve, Department of Treasury, whatever you want to call them, they can print as much money as they want. They can print $28 trillion and fix the national debt. But of course, our dollar will go to shit. Individual states, i.e. Georgia, Texas, California, New York, wherever, an individual state cannot print their own currency. They cannot invent and print their own currency for that state. Where do you think your state gets their money? Their prime cut of income. Now, granted, they do get money from the government, things of that nature. But, I mean, trust me, I know, jails and hospitals, prisons, they get money from the federal government, depending on, I'll get to that in a minute too, depending on what they have. But the prime income for a state is income tax. Okay? Now, we have professionals in Congress saying that this pandemic, that the United States should stay shut down for 18 months to take care of all of this problem. In 18 months, we will not have an economy. We will only have a government. And that is because the economy will have been gone because there will be no one working. With no one working, there are no state taxes being paid to the state. Therefore, the state goes bankrupt. The federal government ends up in charge of everything. Now, going back to what I just said a minute ago, when talking about states, individual states, an individual state does have the right to govern the people of that state. They, in some instances, they can overrule federal. In some instances, they can't. It's definitely something that I do recommend that if you have any questions on, that you check into it. As far as what they can or can't put in place and impose on the people of the state, and vice versa. So I do encourage everyone not to take things at face value. Do not see someone post. Social media can be a great thing, but right now social media is nothing more than part of the propaganda machine for the left. I just read, and this was on, I think it was like Business Insider. the CBS News just got busted for the second time for posting, as they labeled it, incorrect information. But they got busted for posting another false information about the pandemic and hospital location and what was going on. The only reason that they said anything was because they got caught. They apologized the first time. I'm not sure about the second time yet because I haven't fully researched the end result of the after effect. But they have 2 times they've been busted. And that's the only reason that they've said anything is because they did get busted. You know, it's funny. We used to always say this when I was a kid. It's only cheating if you get caught. And people still say it. And it's true. It is a plain fact. You are only going to be held responsible for a lie if you're caught. You're only going to be held responsible for basically pulling the wool over the people's eyes if you are caught. If they don't get caught, they do not care. They will run with it. They will run with it. They will run with it. If they get caught, they get tripped up, they'll apologize for it. And they'll turn right around and they'll do it again. You people need to wake up. And I say you people, I mean the ones who aren't woke. You need to realize that the government of today, right now, is corrupt and does not have your best interests as an American citizen at heart. The only thing that they are worried about or that they care about is themselves. That is the bottom line. Yes, I'm backing up. You're going to need to realize that. Because if you don't get to a point where you realize that, then you unfortunately are going to be caught up in a situation where you have no control over your own life because they're going to control it. Now, I've got a lot of friends who are all over the board. I've got friends that are black, that are white, that are Asian, that every ethnicity, every mix, every gender. Well, there's only 2, but I'm not going to get into that argument. I have some that are godly. I have some that are questionable. Some that are probably even atheists. But all I can tell you is that you need to pay close attention. And I'm the first one to say that I like to get out and I like to do things by the seat of my pants and I like to just have fun and I like to not worry about things. But as I've gotten older, in my 48 years of being here, I have seen now how things are coming out, and it's become more obvious in the age of technology as quickly as it has advanced. The only thing I can really say, the main thing is research. And research credible places. Not just mainstream media, not just your website that your buddy said to check out. If somebody tells you to look at something, and I've done it, I've sent links to people, but I always encourage, because 9 times out of 10, that's probably the 3rd or 4th link that I've checked that is about the same thing. and is the most clear and understandable link to a website. Always check your websites. Always check your resources. Always double check, triple check. Go back. Don't just take things for face value. That's like taking somebody for, that's like, used to a man's handshake meant something. If you tell somebody you got my word, it meant something. Now it doesn't mean jack. It doesn't mean anything to anybody anymore, except a very select few. And those are probably people that are over the age of about 40. I'm not trying to bash younger people, but most of you younger generations don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. And that's going to be the biggest downfall of you and your generation, and even your children's generation, if you, God forbid, spawn out something from your loins. All right, I've been long-winded on this one. I've talked a lot. I've said a lot of different things. If anybody's got any questions, please feel free to ask me. You can direct message me. You can message me on this link that I'm going to post for this video. You can, if you have my phone number, you're more than welcome to text me or call me. If you don't have my phone number, I probably won't give it to you because you're probably an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably not. Who knows? It's Saturday morning. The sun's up. I'm going to get a little bit of work done, trying to get caught up. And luckily I am still working, and thank God for that. And y'all have a blessed day. And all I can tell you is that's the bottom line.